There we go.
We did it. All right. Welcome everyone to our info session on my big fat Greek crafty tour that Christine and Krista have done such a beautiful job putting together, and now I'm joining in. Oh,
Oh, I have this.
bye.
Oh, this wasn't even rehearsed.
Oh,
Oh, and how am I
no,
left
and
out?
it's blurry.
Oh,
Get out
that
of the
is
way of
so
it.
cute. Oh, I love it. That's amazing. So we wanted to get together and introduce ourselves to all of you and let you know what the Greece trip is going to be like. I personally cannot wait. And Krista is our resident Greece expert. I can't wait to hear about all of your experiences in Greece.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled that now I'm a part of this trip. Originally, it was Peacetree Fiber Adventures, and then I jumped on because it was so incredible. And the piece that I'm bringing to the trip is I'll be doing a lot of knitting workshops with us. So we're going to be seeing some amazing jewelry, and then I'll be doing a bead knitting workshop. We're going to be doing our own mosaics, and then I'll do a mosaic knitting workshop. But anyway, we'll get into that. I get very excited about these things and then just start talking. But I guess we could do some introductions first, and then we'll get into the itinerary and ask if you have questions. Of course, please let us know. But my name is Shaina Bilow, and I'm a knitting teacher, knitwear designer, and in Northern New Jersey. And I've done a little bit of teaching for Christine and her phenomenal business, which she'll explain in a minute. And we decided that it would be really fun to travel together, and anyone traveling to Greece is going to have a good time. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this trip. But I will hand it over to you.
Thank you. And we're so excited to have you, Shaina. Hi, I'm Christine Walker. I'm the owner of Peacetree Fiber Adventures. I know Claire there has been to one of the retreats. I recognize Claire, and she was in Vermont last November. So I host knitting retreats, and I've mainly been in the United States. Well, all been in the United States in the Northeast pretty much. And it was my goal to go abroad. And my good friend Krista, who you'll meet in a minute, was kind of like, let's go to Greece. Greece is so awesome. Let's do that. And I said, yeah, okay, let's do that. So we've been putting everything together, and I love hosting these retreats. I meet so many amazing people. I met Shaina through retreats, and Shaina did during COVID virtual for us. She did the first retreat back from COVID, which was in Amherst, Mass. And then she came to Maine, and everyone loved being with her, and we're friends now, and that's amazing. So we love that. So I've owned this business since 2019. I did buy an established retreat business, but then of course, right when I bought it, COVID hit. So that was fun. And here we are, we're back on track. So I'm in Buffalo, New York. Just so everyone knows, we are buried in snow right now. So that's super fun. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to turn it over to Krista to introduce herself.
So my name is Krista Hobart, and I'm a friend of Christine's. Christine and my husband are actually high school friends, and I jumped on the bandwagon and became Christine's friend about 20 some years ago. So the reason I became involved is I've been to Greece many times. I fell in love with Greece when I was 16 years old. The first time that I went, it left a major impression that never left. And I've been back many, many times over the last, well, since I was 16, I guess. So the last many years. And the last several years, I've gone even a couple of times a year. I was just there I was just there in November, and I kind of did a dry run of this trip a little bit. So that was like really fun. And the weather happened to be fantastic in November, unusually fantastic. And I can attest, this is an amazing trip with top-notch the workshops that we're going to do. I went to the weaving workshop, and the instructor is amazing, and it's just a top-notch thing. And then the same with the pottery workshop that we'll be doing. Both places I wanted to move into. Like, I was so inspired and so excited to be there. And I'm not a knitter. So I probably will be a knitter after the end of this trip, but all thing Greece related falls in my category. So I'm excited to share the country that I love with everyone that's coming along. I've been to Athens many, many times, and I just let Christine and Shaina in on a little secret. I'm going again in about 6 weeks, I think. Maybe it's like 58 days. I might have counted. So yeah, so I'll be over there for an extended period this spring as well. So any last minute kind of things we need checked in on, I'm your gal.
That is too cool. I can't
Yeah.
believe you just jet set over to Greece all the time. I'm like so jealous, and I'm so excited that you're going to be hosting the trip, like, and helping us all through Greece. And
When she was there last time doing the dry run, she's texting me like 14 times a day of all the cool things and sending me little videos, and I was putting the videos together and everything. It was so fun. Just seeing it through your eyes, Krista, because you were walking with the camera and getting everything. And it was so cool. And you know, what's nice when we were getting things, you know, squared away, and just so everyone knows, I worked with the same travel agent that Shaina used for the postponed Israel trip. So that's kind of how it kind of all came together. But working, I kind of lost my train of thought now, but working with Talia, who is super helpful and super friendly and so full of information. I mean, when we were putting the trip together, Krista was on the calls with us and like, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this. Here's you know, Talia gave us 3 options of hotels. Krista said, do this one. It's literally across the street from everything. So it was really great to have her input in planning out the itinerary.
We're so lucky. And
I'm lucky.
Yeah, you're so lucky. But I was noticing our Athens hotel is like right next to, we have a view just right there of the Acropolis, right? Like it's right up.
It's right there. So
Like,
the cool thing about Athens is the Acropolis is it's right in the center of town. All the good stuff is, they call it the center, which would be the downtown area. Everything surrounds it. So there really is a view of the Acropolis from everywhere. But this particular hotel that we're staying at, the Ilia Irmou, it's on Irmou Street, which is the big shopping street, and the rooftop bar, which I may or may not have gone to a couple of times when I was there to enjoy the view, is spectacular, and it literally overlooks the Acropolis. It's just, the location is perfect. And when you walk out the door of this hotel, you're right on the main shopping street, all the restaurants, everything is right. The location is perfect. It really is perfect location, and a beautiful hotel too. So we're excited to go there.
if that was the video you showed that you sent to me of you like toasting in front of me.
Yes, that was it.
I cannot wait to get there and have a cocktail.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's
fantastic.
gorgeous at night. I mean, she took it at night if you didn't see it, and it's all lit up. And I mean, it's just a stunning, stunning view. Oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah, it'll be great.
What's the weather typically like, Krista, in Greece in September?
It's September. It should be the perfect time. So in my opinion, as a frequent traveler there, the best time to go is May or September. July and August, there's way too many people. If you ask me, way too many people. And it is really hot. And this last year, exceptionally hot. So September's a great month to go. Very sunny, it's still very, very warm. We're going to be at our second hotel is right on the beach, easily able to enjoy all the water activities and everything. It's the perfect time of year with less people. So September is the best month, if you ask me. And
in regards to our second hotel, this is me now asking you. So just so everyone knows, I'm meeting Krista for the first time right now, which is so nice. We've chatted online, but here we are actually like seeing each other's faces. So is the second hotel looks like it's right next to Poseidon's temple?
Yes, it is.
Can you like walk there from the beach?
You can't. I don't believe that you can walk there. So it's on like a little kind of a bay. Mm-hmm. And the hotel is there, and then around the curve of the bay is Sunio is what it's called. And so our tour part of our trip includes a tour of the ruins that are right there, the Temple of Poseidon. But it's gorgeous because, well, it's gorgeous at any time of the day, but really at sunset. When the sun goes down, it'll go down over the water side. and then it shines on the temple. It's I mean, it's stunning. It's
That's
stunning.
when we're doing the tour, sunset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's the perfect time to go.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
sunset
it's
tour.
really beautiful. And again, in going in September, it won't be as hot, especially to skip back to the Acropolis. That is part of our tour as well. And the Acropolis in August, I'm telling you, that's the last place you want to be. It's so hot up there. There's not a blip of shade. You got to walk up all these stairs. It's not terrible, but in the, if it's 102 degrees, it's terrible. So September will be much nicer to enjoy all the sights.
Awesome. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So should we go through, what do you think, Christine? Should we go through the itinerary and kind of let everybody know what we're doing on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, we can do that. Let me just pull it up here.
And if anyone has questions for us, please let us know. I've got the chat box open and that kind of thing. Certainly I want to know what you're knitting. If you're here knitting with us too.
I have a project in my lap.
I know I've got mine right here. My snazzy little and yeah, Krista, there's no way you are leaving
I
the
know.
trip without knitting. Like you
I
will
know.
100% be a knitter.
Okay.
Lied too. She did make a couple things.
I did. Christine taught me how to make a scarf because I took a train from New York here all the way to California and I needed a project. So Christine taught me how to make a scarf. So I've made one scarf.
Well, yeah.
I did something.
Yeah. There was
There's
a
hope.
question. There was a question, are the hotels air conditioned?
Yes, they're very nice and modern. They're not, they're very nice and modern. If you've been to Greece before, there's a lot of family run hotels, which are awesome too, but neither of these are that. Both of these are big hotels. But yes, air conditioning.
All right, let's talk about the itinerary because I am looking at it, and this information, including a link to the full itinerary, is on my website, which I'll put in the chat. And Shaina, I'm sure the link to it is on yours as well, or you have it all.
Mine is sort of like a summary, a synopsis
Okay.
of what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone would arrive by September 15th, which is, I believe, a Sunday.
Mhm.
And there'll be a transfer from the Athens airport. And then we're going to be 4 nights there at the Ilia Ormu Hotel. And that's going to include breakfast daily. And we're going to have a welcome dinner that night at, I believe the restaurant is called Mistilli.
Yes.
I believe yes,
Mhm.
that is where it is. Okay. Then we hit the ground running the next day to the weaving experience and workshop, which Krista already did and loved it. Loved it.
Oh my
I
gosh.
forgot that I made this at the weaving workshop.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that looks like a cool place. It had all like, I'm probably not floor looms, but like table looms and, all that stuff. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do the treasure trove of jewelry at the Benaki Museum, which is Krista's favorite.
Yes.
The Benaki, I knew that. And we're having lunch there, I believe, at the Benaki, which is also amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's going to be a full day. And then we'll do some knitting at night. It's probably dinner on your own that day. And like Krista said, it's right out the door and boom, 1,000 restaurants and things. The next day, the 17th, is going to be in the morning. So that's nice because even if it's a little warm, it should be cooler in the morning. We're going to tour the Acropolis and then do the Acropolis Museum, which is
it's right across the street.
Newer than the Acropolis.
Yeah. And it's right across the street. So it's easy to do. You do the Acropolis, you come down and then you go across the street to the museum, which is spectacular. And it has a spectacular veranda, like a second floor veranda or third floor veranda that kind of overlooks this courtyard. And it's a great place to have a cup of coffee and take a break and take a rest if you want to just be like, okay, I had a lot of old things already for the day. It's a great place to grab a cup of coffee and kind of regroup for a few minutes and then head back into the museum. Because sometimes it is a lot to take in all those things and all the information, and you might need like a 10-15 minute coffee break. And it's a great place I'll happily walk you up to the rooftop patio and show you how to order a frappe.
Perfect. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to have lunch, an included lunch, which is going to be at a Greek taverna. I don't think it's figured out yet where. And then the afternoon will be the pottery workshop. So Krista did go to Attic Black to meet the people and check it out. And again, was in love and
Yes.
wanted to live there.
I was looking around their website
Yeah.
and oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I will be packing an extra piece of luggage for the mugs that I'm going to be buying. Like their black and white mugs
Mhm.
were stunning. I can
And their
So-
work is in the Louvre, right? You said?
Yeah. Yeah. So what they do there, the technique that they use is an ancient Greek technique, and they've been able to figure it out. I believe that they're the only pottery studio of this kind in the whole world. And so they make like legit reproduction this kind of pottery. And so one of the pieces that they make there is that sold at the Louvre gift shop. And then some of the other pieces that they make, some smaller ones, are sold at the Acropolis Museum. So these are world-class artists that work there. There were 4 female artists working when I was there. And one woman was making this like most amazing thing. And I said, oh, can I take a picture? I wanted to just get a little video for Christine of this woman working away. And she actually said no, because the piece wasn't completed yet. It had been commissioned by a private person. It wasn't done, and she didn't feel like she had the right to let anyone else see what it was. But very gifted people. So we'll be doing a workshop there, and we'll be making these ceramic tiles. I don't know, they're about this big, and they're all different kinds of tiles that we can be making. I could have bought everything that they were selling there, all kinds of beads and everything. It was great.
I'm going to share my screen because I pulled up their website just to give you a sense. Like, excuse me. So these are just some of the ancient toys that they've replicated, which I thought was fascinating. But then you can see here they sell, like, this is some of the work that they do, and it's just gorgeous.
It is.
Like, these are what I got lost in.
Beautiful.
Black mugs. I got totally lost. Like, just they're gorgeous. So anyway, I am super psyched to be there. One of my best friends is a potter, and she was very jealous that we're going to be going A to Greece and B to Attic Black. So
yeah, exactly. So that's going to be so cool. So we're going to do that. Then we'll do dinner, I think, on our own, and then we'll probably do more knitting stuff. There's knitting stuff basically all the time if there's
all day, every day.
Yeah.
Well, there's a nice space at the Ilia Irmu Hotel too. So there's a nice lobby that overlooks, I mean, the busy part of town. It's very cool. So and you can knit on the rooftop while you're having a cocktail, maybe, or I don't know how the knitting part works. Maybe you can't drink and knit at the same time. I'm not sure, but
we can work it
figured
out.
it out. You'll have to all your stitches.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. So then the next day is we actually leave. We're going to go an hour or 2 away, and we're going to do an all-day tour that includes lunch, and every day includes breakfast, if I didn't say that already. And we're going to go to the Oracle of Delphi. So Krista, tell us a little bit about that.
So that's a little ways out of town, and honestly, I haven't been to Delphi in a long time, so it'll be really fun for me to go there too. I haven't been there. It's kind of up in the mountains, about an hour and a half out of Athens, and it's where the Oracle of Delphi was. That's where people went to in ancient times. They paraded up there, and the Oracle would tell them, all right, what's going to happen when we do this war? Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? What do we need to do? And I will tell you, it's a very mystical place. It's very green and lush, and you can feel that something magic happened there. Like, it's just a really neat, special place, and we'll have a great tour, and I think it'll be a little nice break from Athens. You know, Athens is a busy, bustling place, and it'll be nice to get out for a few hours, see the lush green area, a different part of Greece, and then to head back into town. And of course, you can knit while you're on the bus.
I have always been a little bit into Greek mythology. Like, I really enjoyed reading Greek mythology as a kid. My son and I have just been reading a lot of it too. And I'm especially like geeking out over seeing a lot of these places. And I think we should maybe have like a reading list too before the trip. Do like little book clubs. Yeah, I'm getting some nods from people here. Wouldn't that be fun? Like Song of Achilles and Circe and all these, you know, like some really, I'm open to suggestions, but I think we probably have some readers here who might enjoy book discussions while we knit. Anyway.
Fine.
I've got some great suggestions too, because I actually the books that I love the most are all like novels about Greece that are historical fiction. So I could provide a couple of I've got a couple of good ones that I really like too.
we will
Circle
chat.
back on that.
Yes, yes, you'll get exactly. Yes.
So let's see. So we went there, and then the next day, which is September 19th, we're gonna check out of the Elia Ormu Hotel. And then before we go to Sunia, we are gonna do a food tour. And I am super duper psyched about the food tour.
I'm excited about the food tour too. Right when again, where our hotel is like a great location. So I'm not sure where the food person is going to take us to, but I can only imagine what it is. That there's all kinds of little food stands all over the place. And again, I'm not 100% sure this is part of the food tour, but our hotel is very close to the Athens market. And so I'm hoping that part of our tour does take us to where the spices are, the nuts are, the meat market, the fish market. It's all very close. And I'm pretty well versed in the food scene there. So if whatever's not covered on the food tour, I can hook you up before
we'll
we
have a
can
little field trip.
Exactly. I'll take you to the good spots.
Yeah. Krista found some other good spots too, like with yarn and ribbon and cording, and again, sending me 1,000 pictures a day, and I'm wheeling away at work, you know. So.
Yeah, there's one street that's pretty close to our hotel, and it's known for all it's a yarn and knitting and anything to do with sewing and fiber arts, and it's all on the street of actually the Airbnb that I normally stay at. It's across the street. So I walked down the street the last time trying to meet as many little shopkeepers and kind of like make sure I knew exactly which ones were the cool spots. So I've got all that too. So if there's ever a little bit of downtime, I'll walk you over to Coca-Latroni Street and we'll check out the yarn shops.
I'm excited for that. I love touring cities and finding those little neat spots like that button you're never going to find somewhere else. And like, I'm sure the shops have a lot of probably the acrylic stuff, but a lot of the times I know, like when I was in Israel last year and I found that street that had all the haberdashery and the fabrics and the trimmings and stuff, like the yarn wasn't like out of this world, but at least it was out of this world. And it felt like, okay, this is new and different for me. So it was a cool experience, and I hope we do get to do that.
Yeah, we'll get to do it.
We'll make time.
Time.
Let's see. So we do the food tour, and then we go to Sunia, which is on the sea, which Krista was mentioning in the beginning, and we check into the Aegean Beach Hotel. We're going to be there for 3 nights. It's going to include breakfast every day. And so then we're there on September 20th in the morning. We do like our official knitting workshop. Like that is the specified time for knitting workshop, but there will be other knitting workshops interspersed, like in the evenings or whatever. But this will be our actual time at the hotel. So we'll do that. And then we will have lunch on our own, and then an afternoon of leisure to be able to enjoy the beach, the sea, whatever's right there. And then that night, which will be knitting too on the beach, which is cool. And then in the evening is when we take the Cape Sunio sunset tour. So that's when we see the Temple of Poseidon and all that stuff.
I just want to show one picture because I pulled up, I found our hotel and I pulled it up and I put it up on my Pinterest board. So this is the Cape. Our hotel, I don't know if you can see my mouse, is right here. And then here's the Temple of Poseidon. Like it's right there. And here's another image. These are just some of the images, and we can talk about them in a sec. But here's another image of the beach of our hotel, and up right there on the top of the mountain is Poseidon's temple. So I think that's going to be
sign me up. I mean,
really
fun.
That's going to be amazing.
I'm going to go right now. So excited.
That's going to be so good. So we're going to do that, and then the next day is September 21st. In the morning, we're going to do a Byzantine mosaic workshop, which the artist is coming to the hotel, so we don't have to leave. And we're going to be doing whatever we're doing with the mosaics. The traditional mosaics will be reminiscent of what we've seen at the Acropolis and all that sort of stuff. So all of the things pretty much relate to each other in some way and have a cultural significance to Greece. And then we'll have lunch, and then we have another afternoon of leisure to enjoy the sea. And then we have a farewell dinner that night. And then the next day we head back to Athens and hate to go home.
And start planning next year's trip to Greece. That's like twice as long because we want to do more and more and more. I'm excited that the last 2 days are kind of chill, right? We're doing workshops. We have time to like be leisurely on the beach, because I think that's going to be important to digest everything that we've seen. And like, I'm excited for that.
I mean,
too.
it's a full week. It's for sure a full week, super fun. And Krista and I are extremely similar in the I'm here. I have time to rest when I'm dead. So we'll go, we'll just go. So Krista and I are very similar in that on vacation, and it can be a little much sometimes. So I think that
I can be that way with my family as well.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's nice that we have like scheduled downtime.
Yes.
And if you want to keep running during your scheduled downtime, have at it. We'll take you wherever you need to go. Krista, show your rings.
Oh, I do have my rings on. This is a place I'm taking Christine. This one, and this one. They're actually better in person, but I found
They're
this,
really cool.
yeah, this amazing artist that now every time I go, I have to buy a new one for my collection. It's like,
What are
They're like
they?
enamel.
they're like
Yeah.
enamel with brass, and she comes out with I found her on Instagram years ago, and she's at this like amazing little local jewelry shop that is about, if we're adventuresome, we can walk over there, but it's kind of far. It's better to just take a cab, really. But so they sell all these things by local artists, and I just found this lady, and I love their stuff. And she comes out with different colors every season. So so when I go, it seems like, well, I have to get the newest one for this season. So now I do have quite a collection. I'm missing one big one right here because whatever. When I usually go to her shop, it's because I've walked there and it's hot out and my fingers are swollen, and it's actually too big for my finger in a snowstorm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's
So
the best time to buy jewelry, right? Like when you're a little swollen, or shoes too. Like,
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I should have bought in a size smaller, but oh
Yeah.
well. I'll get one when I go back.
So that's the trip. I think it's, I hope everyone thinks it's amazing as we do, because we really tried to fill it with, a lot of things that were, again, significant to Greek culture, and not just like we're going there to do knitting when we could really do knitting anywhere. And why did I go to Greece if I'm just going to sit and knit? So, it's exciting that we'll be able to see all the different sites. It's great that we'll have Krista with us because obviously, and then it's great to have Shaina with us because also obviously. So I can't wait. I think it'll be so good.
It's gonna be great. And as someone who's been, I think I've been over 25 times now, I can attest it is a very good trip. It is top notch. It's fantastic. So I'm very excited to be part of it.
and I love too that already the people that have signed up, like we're all knitters, so we all have that linking piece. We have that connection with one another. And then to do all these other creative and culturally significant activities, really, it just adds another layer, I think, to the connection that we'll all make. So I'm excited about this.
How much walking do we think we'll do each day? There's a question.
I got a good answer.
Oh, you do, Krista?
Yeah, I do because I'm familiar with, like in Athens, I'm familiar with the ground, I'm familiar with the on the ground stuff there. So everything is within walking distance, but several things will take the bus to, like Attic Black. It's in a neighborhood. It's not right. It's in the center, but we're not walking there. It's too far. So a bus will take us to that. The restaurant Mistelli, I'm gonna guess that we're gonna take a bus to for the welcome dinner. It's a little bit of a walk. It's not. I can walk to all these things, but some of them are longer than you would want to do. So at Delphi, there's probably a decent amount of walking because the bus will drop us off in the area where they drop you off, and then you have to walk to the actual site. Same with the Acropolis. We can walk to the Acropolis from our hotel, really. And then you have to walk all the way up there. It's a series. Well, you can just judge by looking at it, how far up there it is. And then you walk around. It's not bad though. And then you walk back down, and the Acropolis Museum's across the street. So most things are within walking distance, but I know that we have a bus that's taking us to several things. The weaving workshop too, I have a feeling a bus will take us there. It's not far. I just walked there last time from the hotel, but it's not like a 5-minute walk. It's a little longer.
So I suppose that some of the walking at some of the activities really depends on how much you want to walk around.
Right. And then when we're at the hotel in Sunio, we're in like a resort area. So you're not walking, we're staying at the resort. You're not getting out and like walking. There's not like a town to really go and walk to necessarily. So once we're there, like we're really at the resort, and there's not a lot of walking. But the first few days, we're seeing sights, we're moving around. So, but I wouldn't say it's terrible at all.
Okay. I hope that Jane helped and answered the question. How many people do we anticipate for the group? We will be calling it sold out at 18 people. So not crazy. I think like a good enough group, but you're not like losing people and you're not, so I think it'll be good. You know who's going, Claire? Did you meet Chris Donaldson in Vermont? Her and her husband Keith, he had dinner with us Saturday night. They're going. Just FYI. So they'll be there. You would have met them. So yeah, so not with us three, it would be like 21 or so. There could be, I don't think it'll be more than 24 or something like that if it's completely sold out. And then you can fly. You would make, let me just say this. You would make your flight arrangements on your own. However, because obviously we all live in different places. However, the Talia at Alice Travel is happy to help with that as well. So you would just need to let her know. Krista, Shaina's in Newark. So,
Yes.
So we could always, and then.
Right. We'll chat about that. How we're
we'll
doing
chat about that.
Yeah.
I'm always going to, I always parlay these trips into much longer than the original thing is. So like, I don't know if we'll go early or stay later. We'll just figure it out,
Right. If you're already there, I'll go to Shaina and then we'll go.
Yeah. And that's another thing you can certainly do on this trip for those people that are interested. I mean, Greece is a long ways to go. So if you've got time and you want to stay extra, either come early on the early end or stay later after we're done at Sunio. You can always bop back to Athens and catch a ferry to one of the islands or fly, or for sure the Talia at Alice Travel can help. But if you have like little logistics questions, I can easily answer those because I've flown all over and ferried all over and driven a car all over the country. So I know those simple things, but she could do the details.
Let me see. We have a question there about dates for deposit deadlines. So I
think it's March. Final payment is due June 15th. And the cancellation deadline, I'm not sure when that is. I think I might be looking at the second to last.
It looks like
contract thing.
It looks like after, so it goes from after the final payment to June 14th, then it varies from there how much would be refunded or not. So that's June 14th. And the trip is in September.
Yeah. And first deposit due when you sign up, second deposit due March 15th. So that's 2 months away. Yeah.
And then there's group travel insurance also included in the cost. So you have to do that separately. I'm just looking through the thing.
And Alice Travel was very helpful with the flights and things for other trips that I had looked at with them. So the flights are great through them. And I know when I was scheduling my previous trip with Alice Travel, one of the travelers wanted to extend the trip and go see another country, and Alice was working with them. Alice Travel was working with them
cool.
to do that. So I'm sure that they could help if you feel like staying
very, very nice.
Hopping over somewhere else, Europe, wherever. When to book the flights, Carmela's wondering.
I have the answer to that one. Because I literally just booked flights for myself for March, just like the other day. So I would say the sooner the better. Tickets aren't going to get cheaper the closer it gets to it. So I would say that when you know that you're coming, that you should book your flights as well, because September is still a very busy month. They're predicting that 2024 here is going to be the busiest year ever in Greece. Christine and I were talking about that when we were kind of first putting the trip together, and kind of like, okay, well, how busy can it be, But everything I've read is that last year was a record-breaking year for Greece. This is going to be just the same. So The tour starts on the day that the tour starts. So kind of like a cruise ship, you need to be there when it begins. So I would, book your ticket, sooner than later. But that being said, Christine and I have not booked our tickets yet.
Right.
So we need to
Okay.
get on the bandwagon, I would say, within the next month or two. You want to
How,
take care of that?
like, let's say from New York,
Yeah.
for an example, how long is the
Yeah.
flight?
So you can easily get a direct flight from New York. So there's direct flights from Boston, New York, Newark. So JFK, Boston, Newark, and then sometimes there's one from Charlotte, North Carolina, and there's one from Atlanta, Toronto as well. So I don't know where everybody is, but from the East Coast, you can get there in a nonstop direct flight, no problem. And the flight there is about 9.5, 10 hours. So same on the back. So, it's a little bit less on the way back, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so Krista and I live in Buffalo, so there are times that when we travel to Europe, we do fly out of Toronto because it's only like an hour and a half,
right.
hour and 5 minutes from us. So I act like I'm a world traveler. I am not. But I have been to Europe twice, and we did go in and out of Toronto. Yeah,
Toronto's nice for us East Coasters because a lot of times you can catch a charter flight out of Toronto, and it can be a lot less. So it just depends. I mean, I've done it several times that way. And if you're going with a family or several people, it's almost always, at least for our area, cheaper to go out of Toronto, just numbers wise, if you're buying 4 airline tickets or something. But I know for me, now if I just go by myself, I prefer to just get home when I'm home
and hop over to New York and because we obviously are about, the flight to New York is like 45 minutes from Buffalo, so not a big deal.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna look that up real quick.
And I'm going to say airline. I'm taking a stab in the dark because I haven't bought a ticket just from like Newark or something. But it's probably about $1,200 is about what a flight should be, about that, So give or take, it just depends, like there was one for 900 the other day, but that was leaving in March. So I'm going to say $1,300 for a round trip ticket seems about right for that time of year.
Krista, we have a question, and you will definitely know the answer to this. How will we do without a knowledge of the Greek language?
Oh, you will do just fine. I speak very little Greek. I speak better Greek after I've had a glass of wine. My Greek gets much better. But you don't need to know any. In Athens, everybody speaks English, and everyone will speak English at the resorts. And it's nice if you know a couple of things like please and thank you, but otherwise you don't need it.
And I just looked up the flight from Newark nonstop. It would be about 1,200.
Yeah,
in that vicinity.
I think is, I mean, I went to France in October. It was 1,200. I mean, I don't think I've ever paid less than that to go. Again, I've only gone twice, but the one time I did take my whole family, and there was 5 of us, and it was $6,000 before I left my house for the flight. So, yeah. So I just feel like that feels pretty average for Europe.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yep.
But, any other questions, anyone?
My little pictures up on Pinterest that we can kind of peek at as well too. And then we'll share our links to our websites where you can.
I can talk about 2 things too while we're looking at the photos. So the weaving experience is amazing. The woman who owns it, she learned how to weave from her mom in northern Greece. And so the looms that she has several different kinds of looms. And again, I'm not an expert on weaving at all, but she had, the stand-up kinds, the one on your lap, all these different kinds of looms. And then she walks through the whole process from the lamb's wool to how you make it into the yarn, and then the things that you could, everything in her shop she has made by hand that started from raw wool. This woman is amazing. So when I went this fall and I took the class from her, I went with another friend of mine who's a very, very experienced tour guide. He's actually an archaeologist, and he is a tour guide as well. And he loved it too. And he was like, and he lives in Athens, but I found this place, you know, and he's like, how did you even know about this place? I'm like, I'm good. I don't know. But the teacher was fantastic. She was just like, I would consider her a friend now. She was that like lovely to work with. And like we made these coaster things and it was like really cool. And I could have moved in there. And then the other place that I loved too, that we didn't talk as much about, this is Benaki Museum. It's spectacular. It's got all kinds of things there.
Here's the Benaki.
Yeah, it's got ancient art. It's got new art. They've got this incredible. Okay, so that Byzantine, that mosaic that's there, like I saw that. That's like really cool. But they have this amazing jewelry collection. Okay, I stopped in front of every jewelry case. The jewelry is like unbelievable. And the really cool thing that we get to do is we get to do a behind the scenes tour of jewelry that's not even in display. It's of their art that's in their archives. It's part of the jewelry collection that's not even out on display. And I have to tell you, I'm very excited about that because that's like a real insider thing. And I believe that we're having lunch there too. I'm not 100%, but there's
I
like
believe that is true.
a great patio that you can sit outside at and overlook the Parliament building. And yeah, the jewelry is spectacular, not to mention everything else. And then they have an amazing, huge wing of all costumes, of all different, Greek costumes from all the different islands and different areas in Greece with all these, this is what I was sending Christina tons of pictures of all these intricate weavings and beadings and all these different things on the costumes. I went 3 times when I was there last time. I was there for a week and I went to the museum 3 times. The lady recognized me the 3rd time I went and let me get in for free.
Oh,
because
nice.
she was like, okay, lady, what's wrong with you? But I couldn't get through because everyone that I had gone with my daughter and some friends and they weren't as interested in it as me. And then the 2nd time I went, it was too close to closing and I had to hurry and scurry out of there. And then the 3rd time they actually had a very amazing knitting thing on the top floor.
Yes.
And then I met some woman from Germany who explained everything to me because I didn't really know what I was looking at, except that it was cool. And Christine got the whole play-by-play, but it's a really amazing museum and we're really going to get to do something pretty special there.
Yeah, when I was looking at the collections in that museum, I was salivating. I was getting so excited. I'm really, really excited.
It's worthy for sure. It's neat.
And just so everyone can see, this is the first hotel we're staying in. And there's the Acropolis right beyond it. I mean, like, just obviously people take beautiful pictures online. And
no, but that's a view from the rooftop bar. I mean, that's where I sat and had my drink. That's the view from the top. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that alone.
I can. That's fine. That'll do.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Rooftop.
Sold. I'm going. Oh, thank you, Jane. Here, I'm going to pop my website up to both Christine and I have links to sign up for the trip on our websites where you can connect with Alice Travel.
And even if you just have questions or need, they're cool to answer questions and they're very helpful.
They've been wonderful. So,
I don't know. Let me unblur my background so I could show my flag.
Oh, your Greek flag. You must have just made that, Christine.
No, I think I made it while you were gone.
Ah, okay.
So it was harder than I thought it was going to be because I was like, well, that's no big deal. That's just stripes until you get to this part. And you're like, oh, that doesn't line up. So that was in Tarja, this part, and the rest of the stripes. So yeah.
And I'll put together patterns for the trip too, things that are relevant to the techniques we're learning on the trip that are inspired by the trip. So we'll have both like little mini lessons in bead knitting and mosaic knitting and maybe some stranded color work. Like my wheels are turning. And then in addition, you'll have like a little pattern packet with other ideas.
And Shaina, will you do something for beginners?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
I'll sit next to you, Krista.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Cindy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think it's going to be really a fabulous trip. I think it's going to be quite memorable and and wonderful. I'm very excited to be going. Thank
We
you.
hope everyone will join us because really it's a magical, I love it. It's where I'm most at home, quite frankly, as I'm most at home there. So I love when people come and meet me there and I can show them the place that I love. It's really special for me. So
Bead knitting. Yes, we're definitely
You
doing
got it,
bead
Claire,
knitting
on it.
soon.
Yes. I'll do some necklaces or bracelets. I'll bring I'll bring like kits for everybody. You won't have to bring yarn for what what I'll be showing you. So you'll get like a needle list of needles, your favorite types to bring, and then everything else I'll have for you. So
And I definitely have to say that every time Shaina and I have worked together, it's been fabulous. So when I suggested to Alice Travel to, let's reach out to Shaina, and she was like, well, what do you mean reach out to Shaina? I'm like, we're friends. Like we can reach out to Shaina. So that worked out really well. And I'm so excited to be working with Shaina too, because I think Shaina really and truly, I think you've been the most repeated instructor that I have had. I really do see that. Yes.
Well, I still think fondly back on to the Amherst event where it was my first event live back from COVID and your first event live back from COVID. And it was everyone was very, nervous and we were all, but it was also so uplifting to be together. And then again in Maine, being with you and being with Peacetree and all the other teachers and the people, it was also incredibly uplifting and wonderful. And you put together such beautiful events that it really was a no-brainer for me when my other trip got canceled to just say, you know what, this is what we'll do instead. And we're going to turn, we'll turn this into a joint effort. And then, so it was a no-brainer. So
Better together.
yes, absolutely.
So all good. All good. Eileen, you're coming on the trip. Yes. Yes.
It is going to be especially amazing with fiber loving friends. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what could be better? We have Krista who adores grease. We have all of us who love knitting. And once you're crafty, right? I mean, all of that stuff is interesting to me. Well, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but for me, I'm down for all of it. Give me all of it. I want to see all of it. I want to feel it. I want to look at it. I want to learn about it. Honestly, if I could do every hobby on earth every day, all day, I would. But obviously no. So I'm just so excited. I was so excited when it was more than just knitting. That's why we called it my Big Fat Greek Crafty retreat, because there's too much to experience there to just knit.
Yes.
Not that we all don't love knitting, but
knitting is what brings us together, right?
Yes.
That's what links us. And then we are all so creative and so interested, right? If you like knitting and you like travel, odds are you're going to be into the culture and all the arts that come with each different culture and place you travel to. So it makes perfect sense to do a trip like this, where we're including all these other elements of creativity. I'm so excited for the weaving. I am so excited for the pottery workshop and the mosaics. I don't know. I take on a new hobby all the time. I just did some really fun paintings. I do beading. I've done a little weaving. I'm unstoppable. And in fact, something was just advertised to me the other day where every month you get this new hobby to try. And I was like, oh, I should do this. And then I was like, wait.
Don't even tell me what it is. I can't.
Yes. Calm down. You're not gonna make You're not gonna do this. But this is a nice way. We'll all be relaxing, having fun in Greece, and just sampling all these things that are part of Greek culture and bring together the history that we're seeing. And it's going to be awesome.
I'm going to try to eat my weight in feta cheese and olives.
That'll be easy.
Krista,
That's easy.
What are the best foods there? What's your favorite thing to eat in Greece?
Oh, what's my favorite thing? That's I don't even know that I can answer that one. So, I mean, you know what I really love? I really love Greek breakfast because I love Greek yogurt, and they have clearly legit Greek yogurt. And then they do these things called spoon sweets, which is, they're for lack of explaining the whole thing, it's like jellies, but it's not. It's fruits that have been marinated in sugar water, really. And then, but it's thick and syrupy, and I put that on my yogurt, and that's one of my favorite things. But obviously, like street gyros and every kind of fresh, everything is fresh and local. All the markets are local, all the fruits are grown right there. Everything. I mean, I've never met a Greek food I
What's
didn't
the thing
like.
you ate last time that you were like, oh my God, I'm craving this every day?
Shoot, now I can't say it's a kind of saganaki. So what it is, it's a feta cheese, and then it's wrapped in phyllo dough, and then you bake it, and then you put it on a plate, and you drizzle Greek honey, which is not like our honey at all. It's like way better. Drizzle it with Greek honey, and then usually has black sesame seeds on top. And then you eat it with bread, and you generally like share it with other people at your table. Or if you're traveling solo like I do sometimes, then I just eat that for my meal with a glass of wine. But it makes like the most delicious crunch when you put your fork through it, like the most perfect grilled cheese. The grilled cheese makes that like awesome crunch. It's the same thing. And I know a really good ice cream place there. I have a favorite ice cream place, and I have them all marked on my phone. So like, I'll know, right. What do you need? You need your favorite, like souvlaki? Gotcha. You need lucamades are something that lots of people like too. They're kind of like a fancy, it's like a donut hole kind of, but they make them fresh in front of you. They deep fry them, and they're usually drizzled in this like honey dip. There's like lucamade stands all over the place. People love those. Yeah, feta cheese with everything. I mean, Greek salads every single meal.
Yeah.
And Greek wine's pretty good too. So
yeah.
I might know a couple things about that.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it's a Mediterranean diet, so like it's healthy.
Right. It's like,
Everything
who
we eat there
cares?
is going to be totally healthy. Yes, that makes perfect sense to me.
You're like,
Right?
I gotta walk to the Acropolis later to burn this off. Oh well.
Have an ice cream, no problem.
So
Oh, I love that.
Krista, you might know, are there any museums related specifically to historical embroidery or clothing? It sounded like one of the museums has an exhibit.
So the Benaki Museum that we're going to has a beautiful exhibit of Greek costumes, is really what they are. And there's all kinds of, I was sending pictures to Christine when I was there, of embroidery, really intricate. Actually, I can embroider. I can do that. The really intricate embroidery, and it's beautifully displayed. It's spectacular. There's also, there's, if there's time, there's, like a on the side thing. I discovered this most amazing embroidery thread kind of place that I could maybe take some people to if there was time to do it too. But at the Benaki Museum for sure, there's that sort of thing to see.
When you say
lots
Greek
of it.
costume, do you mean like they're like traditional dress for different areas?
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, all the islands had different local, regional, kinds of costumes. Same with, Greece it's not a huge country, it's a small country, but there's, all kinds of landscapes there. There's people that grew up in the mountains, so they have a different kind of a costume than the people that grew up on the islands. And the Benaki Museum has an amazing that's actually where I got lost. Just like I could have stayed in there for so long because the costumes were just spectacular, and the detail, just like in the hem of a skirt or embellishment on like something that was on the bodice of something. They were just spectacular, just really, really neat.
Even discussing this with you, I just jotted down embroidery on knitting. So like even just discussing this with Krista, I'm getting more and more like fueled with ideas. So before September, I'm going to continue my research and I will come up with some spectacular workshops, but definitely bead knitting, mosaic knitting. Those are absolutely happening. And then now I'm thinking embroidery on knitting. So we'll just, that would be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And
even like some impromptu workshops too, because I'm sure as we tour all these museums and just even going through the streets of the city together, I'm sure that we're going to be inspired by what we're seeing, and I will find some way to connect it to knitting and want to share that with everybody because I cannot help myself. So.
Yeah. And Krista, before you hopped on and before everyone hopped on, we were talking about the Greek key and that pattern and what it would be a knitting type of thing, which we already know.
And I'm gonna
I am obviously, everyone on the call knows Shaina, so 150 million% positive she's gonna come up with the best stuff that ties into all we're doing.
This is the
Yeah.
Greek key design.
It's
And
everywhere
so-
there.
Yeah, it's fabulous. So, and I'm thinking it would look beautiful also in stranded color work. Mosaic makes sense, and I might do it in mosaic, but I'm gonna play with this. That one's, yeah, some of them are a little, it's fascinating. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll do some sort of sampler here where we can do stripes on something, or at when we're in Greece, we do a little sample to make sure you've got the mosaic knitting idea, and then I send you home with a pattern for a hat or a cowl that uses all the different Greek key styles.
Is there
So,
a knitting tradition in Greece?
Okay, I do not have the answer to that, but what I do have the answer for is since Christine and I have been talking about this for probably like a year, you know, so the last couple of times I went, I had it in the back of my mind that this was something that maybe we would be doing at some point. And I didn't even realize to the extent that the fiber arts was such a big deal there. I knew that embroidery and threads and ribbons and all that were very popular, even in when they wrap gifts. Gifts are wrapped in a very ornate way with ribbons and all sorts of fancy little things. Knitting specifically, I can't speak to specifically knitting, but the fiber arts in general and embroidery and sewing and all that, of course, it's very layered and it's been thousands of years, you know, thousands of years in the making.
like weaving, definitely, right, with
Yeah.
it huge in Greek mythology, and
Right.
but yeah, probably. Oh, thank you, Margaret. Probably, yeah, knitting. I'm not so sure, but
I'm looking it up and it says that there's not even a word for to knit in ancient Greece, but there are, so let's see, it looks like it didn't come around till the 15th century, but also there's a video that is for Portuguese knitting, but then it in parentheses it says Greek knitting.
Yeah, I remember when you and I looked up something, we came
Yeah.
across that Greek knitting thing, but we didn't really,
Right.
it didn't kind of make sense. So
I
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Portuguese.
oh, it's used as well in Greece, Turkey, Peru, etc. So it might be that
Is it a-
Portuguese knitting has spread in different ways, which, yeah.
And then
like,
there's a video
to-
that's 2 Greek methods to cast on stitches. I'll have to watch those.
I will too.
We shall see.
Yeah. Oh, Dee Dee, how are you doing? Do you have a question? I see Dee Dee's hands raised. Nope. Okay. Oh, maybe she was just trying to click a button. Okay. No worries. Well, this has been really fun. Thank you.
I didn't
Krista,
knit it all while
Christine.
we were talking, and
I
I'm
know,
trying to
I
finish
was-
this sweater
Oh, so pretty.
by
Color's great.
February 1st, which is my next retreat. And we have no bottom and no sleeves, and it's a color work neck. So,
I have every faith that you
We shall
will
see.
it.
we shall see.
I've got a fluffy little sweater here that I'm working up in Bobby and Ami, and it's got like a little cable down the front.
Cute.
Yeah, little braided cable. So that's on my needles, but
This yarn is this is just an interesting quick story. This is Kate Davies yarn. And we have a thing here. It's called Stitch Buffalo. And Krista and I took a weaving class there actually. And it's a super cool I can't think of the word, but it's where they train refugee women and they don't train them. They already know what they're doing in terms of embroidery and stitch work and macrame and all that stuff. And they come in and they make the things, and then Stitch Buffalo sells the things, and these women get a paycheck then, which is, you know, wonderful. And they were just able to, you know, expand and the whole thing. Anyways, people donate stuff there. So they're having a sale. Krista texts me, you see this at Stitch Buffalo. I was working. My husband was not. He went down there for me. So I got this Kate Davies yarn. It's over 1,000 yards, and it was like $11.
whoa, definitely
then-
worth sending the husband.
Yeah, I go, just buy anything that looks good. And then he got like some Shetland yarn, like it still smells like sheep. And then there was like, he bought like 7 Hohi Locatelli bags for like $100.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Score.
he spent like $145. And he came
amazing.
home with, I know. So anyways, that was just a fun little story because he went down there and,
That's so cool.
because Krista's like, why aren't you there?
It's a good place. Anyone who comes to Buffalo, we have to take you to Stitch Buffalo. It's like the hidden gem here. It's
Very
amazing.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
really
He
cool.
is a good man. He is a good man. Mr. W. That's what I call him on my Instagram. Mr. W.
Thank you, Gilda. I hope you will come. It'll be fun. Thanks
Yes.
for coming, Gilda. Yeah.
And please feel free to reach out. You can reach me on Instagram. You can reach Shaina, however. I can get to Krista. So all good. You can email me from the website, DM me on Instagram, all the ways.
Absolutely same. Yes.
Yeah.
ShainaBilow.com or email me or Instagram, Facebook. We'll find you. You'll find us. So thank you. And hopefully we'll all be together in Greece in just a few short months, 8 months. So
Exactly. Look forward to meeting everybody.
thank you,
Yes.
Krista. Thanks, Christine. Thanks for
Thank
coming, everyone.
you.
Good night.
You're welcome. Thank
Happy
you.
knitting.
Kalispera. It's good night.
We're gonna learn.
Yeah, we'll learn.
I gotcha.
Bye.
Bye.
So far.
Bye.